I can get you out real fast, what my goal is. I'm going to try to. Okay. Before I actually get started, though, your membership specialist is here. I know that she's over in the corner. Melissa, can we all say hi to Melissa Brandon? Melissa is your membership specialist. I'll tell you what she is in a second. For you guys who do not know who Melissa is or what her position is, and then I'll tell you how I kind of incorporate. So here's the thing. I feel like I'm over talking you all, and so I'm going to treat you like I treat my brownie treats. If I'm talking, I'm asking you to listen. It's nothing personal, but I feel like I'm going to say some things that you all as leaders really going to want to know. And so it's going to be really hard because we have kids in this room. You got leaders that's leaving, and we get all this transition going. And as loud as I can be, because I can be very loud, I have 20 girls in the troop. I can be extremely loud. I don't think you all need that. So what I'm going to do is put poor Julie on the spot. But I'm going to ask her to say her name, and that's for all of you. If you can say your name, your leadership level, and then really what would you want to get out of your Girl Scout experience. Okay, so name, I know, it's going to be interesting. Leadership level, and what would you like to get out of your Girl Scout experience?
Well, my name is Julie Boyd. I am the troop leader for the Barnwell Kindergarten Daisy troop.
Kindergarten first. Kindergarten.
Yeah. And get out of my Girl Scout experience. Can I come back to that one?
Yes,
Patience. Learn to be patient.
Patience.
I'm Kay Zemke. I'm the co-leader for Troop 3006, and our girls are in 5th grade. And so just helping them grow and become in leadership, learn more about leadership, and really taking on the meetings and doing a lot more with that as they move into middle school.
Can I ask a question? I'm sorry, I didn't catch your name.
Kay Zemke.
Okay, and what school are you from?
Barnwell.
Would you be willing to take any additional girls?
We just took 2.
Would you happen to know their names?
Yes, Riley.
Okay. Riley Mita and
yes, Allie.
Alexis Knight.
There you go.
Okay, any news on Lily Blair?
Lily
Blair, B-L-A-I-R.
It's Blair,
Lily
and
Blair?
they did not call back. That was the family that Sandy got in touch with.
Yeah, Sandy, our leader, has reached out
Yes.
to them.
Okay, thank you.
See? That made that easy.
Solve that problem.
Ma'am, you're next.
My name is Shruti, and I am new, starting a new group. Hopefully, if my other leader will join me.
Okay.
And I'm from Darwin Elementary,
Okay. What grade?
2nd grade.
Okay, so brownies.
Yeah.
And what do you want to get out of this experience?
Well, I guess I've never been a Girl Scout myself, but I want my daughter to experience that and see. So I just want to see what all the Girl Scout is. And I know they do a lot of stuff. I was with Miss Janine before, and it's a phenomenal group. I love it. So
Good.
I want my daughter to experience that.
And I love Janine too, so I'm pretty biased to her as well. Go ahead.
My name is Marnie King, and I plan to be a co-leader of a kindergarten group at Dalvin. My older daughter, Anya, is in a 5th grade troop, and I'm brand new to this, and I want to be more active in the community. So that's basically
So you're from the Girl Scout parent side of Girl Scout, correct?
right. I was a Girl Scout myself a couple of years growing up.
Good. Meg?
Oh, hi.
Thank you for helping me with Meg. I saw that.
I was like, you want to talk together? We work really well together.
I see that.
I'm the coach and mother for Northwood's 1st grade, not dead mother. I'm
I understand.
mom too.
I understood that.
I just had my meeting on Tuesday. So I'm in Coach Scout. I'm the troop coach for
Yes.
1 of 3 for Northwood's 1st grade daisies. And my daughter is in there, obviously, and I would like to raise some responsible girls and make sure that they do well for the community.
Excellent.
I'm Bethany Beekman. I'm the other co-leader for our new troop. We're very new. And that is one thing that we want to focus on is trying to get our girls to be good community leaders.
Okay.
That's our focus.
I'm Christina Felton. I'm co-leader of 3rd grade troop at Northwood.
Especially tonight. Go ahead.
Yeah.
And I did it with two things. One was to just spend more time, I mean, I spend more time with her anyway, but do something else. And I read a cool statistic that 100% of C-level women were Girl Scouts.
100% of what?
Of C-level women were Girl Scouts. Not that I want her, CEO, CFO.
CEOs.
Yeah, I was like,
Yeah.
Well, okay, I'm sorry.
yeah.
We're thinking, when she said Navy, we're thinking Navy, Air Force. No, I understood that. CEOs. See, we all learned a new thing tonight, right there. Go ahead. We were thinking Navy, but we realized it's CEOs. I knew what it was, but I kind of saw the faces. Go ahead.
Leanne Stone, I'm co-leader with Barnwell for the 3rd grade Browning Troop, and I just wanted to be able to show my daughter that this is what women do as they get older. They continue to give back and
Excellent.
help the next generation.
Perfect.
And I'm Maggie Barker, co-leader with the Barnwell 3rd grade. And was it, why am I here? What am I doing?
What do you want to
Well, I'm here. No, I'm here. Well, I'm here to try and, I mean, this is not the first time we've been at this, but I think we are trying to learn some new lessons and broaden our horizons and get better at what we're doing. I mean,
Now, have you been a leader before?
in years.
Okay. 'Cause
Yeah.
I remember your face
Yeah.
was very familiar. That's why I
Yeah.
said that.
Yes, I've sat here and listened to you, but I think I
Yeah.
need to listen to you again.
Okay. I was like, I've seen you
Yes.
before.
Yeah.
Okay.
Room for growth.
I'm Julie Lane, and we are co-leaders at the Redeemer Daisy Troop, and I really enjoy this opportunity.
And I am too. Don't worry about it.
My husband's an Eagle Scout. He thinks it's the greatest thing ever. First grade.
I'm Jean Steele, and Julie's like Lisa, we're co-leaders for 1st grade Daisies, and this is my first year too. My first 6, I was, Girl Scouts as a kid, but we're kind of learning a lot as we go. I think my motivation was also, a combination. I just remember learning a lot from being a Brownie and a Girl Scout, and in so many different areas, leadership, community service, just all of it, and I just wanted to give my daughter that and all the kids.
Good. And you just sat down. So.
Hi.
Hi.
She was talking with me.
Yes. Go ahead and tell us your name
Tammy.
and your level. What Girl Scout level?
1st grade Daisy.
Okay. I won't put anything else after that because look at your face. Okay.
What? We gave her all the names, so she's good. Who?
See me after.
Okay. I think I have all them. Okay.
Got it?
From the ones you gave me last time.
Well, I will, again, I'm going to try my best to get you guys out of here very quickly. I am going to go back over my Girl Scout resume because I know that we kind of highlighted it, so I can kind of tell you what I am. I have been a leader for about 10 plus years. I have literally led every level, and I am such an old school leader that there was such thing as 11 to 17 when I was a leader. Okay, that was a level of Girl Scouts called 11 to 17. If you were an existing leader during that time, only those who've been a leader understand what that means. So, but I started off in Girl Scouts with my oldest daughter, who's right in that room, was 5. That's when Daisy's was only 1 year. I actually was a Melissa Brandon. I used to work for the council 5 years ago as a membership specialist, and it is nice to come back because this actually was my service unit. I actually live in this community. 5 years ago, after leaving the council, I started working for North Fulton Community Charities, which I think I overheard Inez saying that organization you will support. So you're going to call me, not after this, you're going to call me for Girl Scout tours and the resident Girl Scout in my building. When you all get rid of your uniforms and books, it always come back to me, and I always come back it to you, so it makes it easy. But the other thing is that I do currently lead a multi-level troop. As Robin mentioned, I have 6 cadets. I have 14 juniors, total of 20 girls. My cadets have earned their bronze award, which is the first recognition level. It's 3 of them, silver, bronze, silver, and gold. They will work on their silver next, as this young lady just mentioned. My juniors, who are currently juniors, will start their bronze as well. If that's not enough, I'm also an experienced trainer. And I'm standing here, and it's hard for me to stand because I'm being taped. but I'm so used to walking around. So I'm like, that's why I'm moving like this, forgive me. But I'm also an experienced trainer, which means that I train you before you become a leader. So if you've seen me in that capacity, I train all levels of Girl Scouts from Daisy up until Ambassador and Senior, all specialty level classes as well, which is ceremonies, which is trips and travel, which is money management, how to be an effective leader, how not to scream. I can go on for days. And if that doesn't make you feel any better, I was never a Girl Scout. Never a Girl Scout. I really started in Girl Scouts because my husband and I moved here. I wanted to be, or I was on the track to be, a C-level employee. And my husband's career took off before mine. We lived in several states, and this is the last state his job dropped us in. And I got tired of staying at home, and I made a phone call. But many of you run away from that conversation, how to be a leader. I ran to it. I saw the flyer. I said, sure, I want to help. The son at the time called me every day up until the recruitment meeting to make sure I didn't change my mind. And I said, I can do this, not a big deal. And I became a leader. And I've been a leader ever since. I do bleed green, although I rebel against some of the colors at times. I love what I do. I believe in our mission of courage, confidence, and character. And I'm an advocate for girls. Because girls become women, and women, let's just be honest, lady, we lead countries. I mean, we can say that all the time. We make our husbands look good most of the time. So, but I do. I really love being a leader. And I love it for so many of the things that we're going to talk about tonight, because I have seen it all. I've seen what cookies can do to a troop. I've seen if you don't manage your funds, it destroys relationships. It can destroy relationships. And I've seen also what effective communication and good troop management does. I've seen troops thrive, but many of them don't. When many people will tell you by your girl's junior year, as a junior, which is like your 4th and 5th grade year, you're going to lose girls, I have increased. In your middle school years, I have increased. I really have. Actually, my daughter is my best advocate. She brings friends. Okay? But again, that's because I make sure my troops are girl-led. I listen to my girls, I hear them, and I take my A-type personality out of the conversation. Just look at here, don't look at anybody else next to you. Don't look left, don't look right. I am an A-type, I admit it, I'm the president of the organization. But I've learned with Girl Scouts that if I don't let a young lady lead the troop or be who she wants to be, then that will change who she is. And my goal is not to change, but enhance. Okay? A couple of things I will say. One, and I'm going to just pick on you. Someone mentioned the Brownie and the Girl Scout. Just for clarification, if you are a Daisy, Brownie, Junior, Senior, or Ambassador, you are a Girl Scout. Okay? People think because we went from brown uniform to a green, it's official. Just to let you know you've been a Girl Scout. So if you were a former Girl Scout, you were always a Girl Scout. The great thing about being an adult Girl Scout is that you get to play with kids and no one thinks you're crazy. That's the only thing. I mean, think about it. If it's raining today and you went out in the rain by yourself and got wet, people will call the cops on you. They just would. But if you go out in the rain with 5 of the little girls, people will think you were fun. And the fact that you got your hair wet. So it makes a really big difference. And so that's really what I want you to leave. What I want you to leave is have the experience of enjoying yourself. This is not work. You're not curing cancer. You're not having brain surgery. As I said to one leader, you're not going to ruin them for college. I promise you. You make the mistake. It's okay. They will get over it. Trust me. But you're here to enhance them. I often feel like my leadership team, I have 3 other ladies that lead with me, are the advocates in my daughters' lives. They are the people my children can call if I'm not around. That's their job. Their job is not to get them to college. The job is not to make sure that their lives are fantastic, but they are their advocates. So my daughter knows in her cell phone there are 3 other women she can call if I'm not around. And her daughter and all of those girls have my cell phone and know the exact same thing. My goal, when I tell my parents who join my troop, I walk side by side with you to lay the foundation of what you're trying to do. Okay? So, my first question to all of you, have you been trained? Yes. Okay. If you have not been trained, raise your hand. Okay. So, you all who have not been trained need to get with Jody or Robin and get trained. You need to take 2 classes. So write these 2 classes down. The first class is called New Leader Basics, or NLB as in boy. So New Leader Basics. I will tell you, all the classes that we offer are free. You do not have to pay for them unless you're doing camping. And all classes are a minimum of 4 hours. You hear the word minimum, so take a snap. I will tell you that. The second class you must take is called PB&J, and it's level. So put P as in, like peanut butter and jelly, P as in Paul, B as in boy, and J like John, and then put a line, a blank line. Now, on that line, I need you to fill in what level you are. So if you are Daisy, put Daisy in that line. If you are Brownie, put Brownie in that line. And that's the class you need to take based upon your leadership level. That's why I asked that. The second reason why I asked the reason why what your levels are, because as new individual and leaders, you need each other. Okay? Here are what your friend's going to look like. Because everything that Julie is going through, Tammy's going through. They really are. Maybe 2 different situations, 2 different places of meeting, but you all have probably the exact same question. When it comes to chocolates and magazine, when it comes to cookies, when it comes to behavior management, you're going to have the exact same questions. So really get to know each other and form that communication bond. I always say exchange emails. It's a really good way to bounce off ideas of what you're doing. Okay? That's okay.
So minimum 4 hours, right?
On both of them. So really, most trainings are all day. So you would take a morning class from 9 to about 12:30 for the New Leader Basics, and then from about 1 to about 5, you would take the level class. Now, yes, ma'am.
Sorry.
That's okay. Please do.
I'm the O1 for my troop, but if my co-leader, does she need to take
Everyone, O1s and O2s who have not been trained must take leadership training. O1s and O2s. If you have not been trained, you must take the leadership training. And you have to have an approved volunteer background check. Yes, ma'am.
And will we have to take it, like, so they're daisies this year, next year they'll be brown?
Every time you take New Leader Basics first, only one time, but every level you take, every year they change.
Okay, so you'll take another PB&J or a new leader as well?
No, you just take New Leader the first time being a new leader, but you take the level classes every year you go to a new level.
Okay.
So every 2 years you're taking another leadership level. From here's my trainer's hat I'm putting on, I'm walking away from the leadership hat and training now. I always encourage leaders to take training. It's free, again, with the exception of camping, because the more information you have, the better you become as a leader. Girl Scouts is not just for girls, it's for the adults as well. We want you to have the same experience, an amazing, wonderful, awesome experience as your girls. So even for me, as a trainer, I've always taken other classes and always taken trainings. I mean, my rap sheet of trainings are ridiculous at this point, but you know, I will tell you what, and Melissa can definitely verify this. We are not doing any longer any online training. So you were kind of the first class to be gotten rid of that. There was time because of flexibility that we were doing some online training. Is that still taking place?
So the latest that I've heard is that they have brought in a couple of webinars for New Leader Basics.
Okay.
It is a 2-hour webinar. They are not being offered all the time. It still has to be scheduled. It's not like you can just go on and do it like you used to. But there is a webinar option. I'm not sure if you take just the 1 2-hour webinar or if there's a part 2. I'm not sure about that because it's brand new. I think they just started piloting it last week. But when you go to sign up for training through the training system, you will see that option.
Right. So
is that where we sign up for all our classes online through
the Learning Ops. Learning Ops. Learning Opportunities. She asked what the program for the class is called, Learning Opportunities, and that's where you register all of them. Yes.
Okay, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
So how often are they offered? Like once a month?
Well, webinars, as Melissa said, that's depending on what the listing
when
is.
When you go and log into the training system on the website, you'll see a list of classes that are being offered in person, and you'll see, I think actually the New Leader webinar is listed as a webinar. I don't think it's even under
No, it's just called webinar.
Yeah. So you'll see the schedule. I know that they've been offering them just about every week so far all year. I don't have in my head when the next series of classes is going to be, but everything that's available will be listed there.
Tell them that they can find that when they go into when they log into their when you log in where you same place that you do your troop management and stuff. you'll find it on the left-hand side of the screen. Under learning opportunities, the same place where you signed up for camp and all those other things that you did. It's on the left-hand side of the screen. It's called
So
Learning
then you all get our.
That portal, I emailed most of you that link to register.
It's the volunteer portal.
Right,
Right.
and there's a number of places on the website, if you look in that left-hand menu bar, you'll see training session schedules, and that will always bring you to a page that lists classes being offered. You can sort it by the name of the class, you can sort it by the area that you're in if you want to find out what's being offered in North Fulton. So there's all different ways to look for it. And we have fabulous support in our office. If you ever get confused, you don't know what you're doing,
But that was my next one, yeah.
complicated, by all means, please call our office and ask for the training department. They are very
Efficient, effective,
Yes.
and amazing.
This
Yes,
might be totally off, but like it's bringing me to mind the CPR. Like I'm trained because I'm a preschool teacher.
right.
Do I just give that like to Anne and I have
Exactly.
to have that in our book?
Right, if
Every
you are,
meeting?
that's a great example, because first aid and CPR is another class that we ask that you take. And if you have, like, for example, with me, I'm the same way, I have to take it. So if you've already taken that and you have the information to say that you've taken it, you would send that information to the training department, and they will update your records for that. I heard an O. Oh, okay. I was like, oh, okay. But training is very important. The thing is, I know, here's the thing that you need to know. Girl Scout website will be your best friend. It truly is. I know right now it seems a little convoluted and complicated because we're now online, we're registering online, we're taking classes, you get to register for classes online. But I will tell you, if you do not have that website, does everyone know the Girl Scout website? Okay, let me give you that. G as in girl, S as in Sam, G as in girl, ATL.org. GSGATL.org. If you have not done anything this weekend when you're settled, the kids are watching TV and the husband's watching football, go on that, and I tell all new leaders, just go and look through it. Click through it, get yourself familiar with it, but it's probably the best site that will give you all of the access and information that you need to know about Girl Scouts. Even down to troop modules, so like how to run your first meeting, how to run your second meeting, all of those things are right there on that website.
Can you repeat that, please?
G as in girl, S as in Sam, G as in girl, ATL.org. GSGATL.org. Okay, so we talked about training. The most important thing about training is that as council, we are making it vital. It's important. We are cracking down. We are checking all of those things because, again, we want to make sure two things taking place. Number one, you are volunteer app approved. So has everyone had their volunteer app? It's been approved. And number two, that you are trained. What you really don't realize, that your parents are very, very smart. Okay? The website that you don't think you can navigate through, they can. And Melissa can tell you, she will get phone calls from parents who feel their troop is not running because it suddenly becomes their troop. And they will get real personal with trying to seek out someone to help them run their troop better. So that's why it's important to have the training so you'll have that information backed up. Yes, ma'am, Julie.
I, in my troop, required all of our parents to do the volunteer application also,
Yes.
so they have the background check.
Yes.
I mailed those in about a week ago. Will there be some sort of notification whether they've been approved or disapproved?
Actually, you can do a couple of things. If the approval has not gone through Robin or Jody, I can give you a website. You do eBiz.
Oh, right.
Or which one do you want to have, eBiz or Shirley Cruz?
To do what? To find out if they're approved?
Yes.
Sure.
Okay. Shirley Cruz, SHIRLEY, Cruz, CRUZ. So it's S Cruz
Okay.
at GSGATL.org. Okay, I know that you're thinking, does she really remember these things? Yes. I've been a counselor around a long time. I can tell you every department and every person in one department. So I have to be very careful of that when I give information because I know people personally. I'm like, oh, just call so-and-so. So,
First,
go ahead.
I would say if you've got a question about whether or not a parent is approved, I would call Jody or Robin
Right,
first
Mhm.
because they will get the email notifications. If they haven't heard, I would let them actually
Yeah.
contact council.
Okay. And that's the way, and as I said, what she's asking you to do is contact Jody or Robin first, or Janine. Janine is also working with that information, and then they can have access to contact specifically someone. Keep in mind, though, this is what I tell people, council is very busy. We're looking at 44,000 plus girls that are also registering at the same time in the greater metro Atlanta area. And we're also have like 33,000 leaders. So, you know, in a smaller county or area where council would probably move a little bit faster, this council is extremely large. You're like one of the top 10s actually. And so it's a little harder for them to get back in the 24-hour notification. I'll give you an example. I sent a notification myself a week ago, and I actually forgot about it because I solved my own issue. And they sent me an email just yesterday. They said, oh, the issue's been solved. And I'm like, yeah, I know I did. But they did respond. So, but again,
If you bear in mind that we're 44,000 girls and
Right.
19,000 adults and less than 150 full-time employees.
Exactly.
So
That manage all of your information. And this is the busiest time because they're not only doing recruitment, but they're also doing chocolates and magazines at the same time, while the people don't realize gearing up for cookies as well. So,
and the good news is that you have got fabulous volunteer service unit directors, Jody and Robin, and Janine who's working with them as well, and they're all fabulous and experienced and knowledgeable leaders. I serve you guys specifically. I serve as part of North Fulton and part of Roswell and Johns Creek as well. So you do have some resources. I'm kind of more local to you than necessarily some of the other staff. So feel free to take advantage of us. That's what we're here for.
mm-hmm. Yes, ma'am.
I have like 3 questions, I'm sorry.
That's okay. Don't
Okay,
be.
so if the parents are gonna go with us to functions, like Girl Scout functions and stuff, do they have to have a background check?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. We actually encourage from a training department, and I say from the personal department, to all of my parents, you need to have a background check. And the reason why I say that I've become approved to take care of your girls, I want you to feel the same way with the girls I'm in my troop. So yes.
Okay, my second question is, at Barnwell, which is where my girls are, all of their moms have already had to get a background check to be a volunteer through Barnwell.
That's very
Can they use
different.
that one?
No,
Okay.
they cannot. They have to go through the Girl Scout
Okay,
website
so
and
that's
the council of, I mean,
okay.
they're going to ask that question. I've been approved. They have to go through the council website and they have to be approved through council.
Okay.
Third question.
Nope, that's it.
Oh, okay.
And I do have one more. Do they have to do that every year?
No, they do not have to do it every year. Here's what I say. The answer is no, they do not have to do it every year. However, if there is a concern from a council perspective, like, I'm just going to pick on you and Kay stole some money, then, because, you know, she got desperate and those cookies were really hard to resist. So, in that case, we would ask her to do another background check. Melissa would be the person that Jody would contact and say, we have some concern about Kay, and Melissa would step in and say, you know, at this point, Kay, we do need you to do another background check. Any other question?
One more.
Yes, ma'am.
So you said, the training is free except for camping.
Right.
What's the deal with that?
Well, camping, because it depends on if you're doing overnight type of camping. There's platform camping and cabins and s'mores camping. So, for example, when you do platform is overnight. You have to go to one of our campsites. You have to stay out in the woods. You have to cook the food. They teach you all of those things about camping, and so there is a fee with that. And in order to go camping, you have to take a camping class. Because that's the one. Yes, really. I can't see you out in the woods and it's a bear gets you. No, I'm joking. There's no bear. There is no bear. Okay, I promise you, there's not a bear. But no, there is a safety aspect that we have to take into account. So more than likely, you're gonna camp in cabins. For example, for myself and maybe Melissa, because we've been around a long time, we camp in platform tents. There's a different camping style for us because I have to cook my own food. I have to know how to do a fire. I have girls that teach all of those things. So that's the difference.
So, but if to go into cabins, you don't have to have.
There's still a training called Cabins, Lodges, and S'mores.
And it has more to do with how you teach the program in that kind of an overnight or an outdoor setting than it does with how to lock the door behind you on the cabin.
Exactly.
Okay.
And also the safety. I mean, you are in the woods. I mean, you have to keep that in mind. It's very dark. All of those aspects you don't think about. All the things you need to bring. I mean, you think, oh, I'll just go to a cabin. It's not that easy when you're going to a cabin with 14 other girls who've never been out in the woods by themselves, alone. And the closest place to you, as far as a store, with the exception of Timber Ridge, is probably 45 minutes. Because most of our camps, except for Timber Ridge, which I call it the starter camp, because it's a camp in the city. I mean, you drive out and there's Publix and McDonald's. But with the exception of that one, yeah, and Starbucks, they do have a good one though. But the exception of that, most of our camps are like really out far, and you don't even have reception with your cell phone unless you're standing in one space.
Especially at Camp Parade.
Exactly. So it makes a big difference for that. Any other questions before we move to the next section? Okay, let's talk about parental support. I was told that we might have a special guest. That's okay. But I will just tell you that.
Well, we can speak on behalf of her. I'm sure he's one of them. So.
Well, there we go. So I will tell you, one of the things that make probably the most effective troop management is when you have effective troop parents who clearly understand that we as leaders are not glorified babysitters. Okay? We don't give you the luxury of dropping your kids off while you go to Starbucks. That's not, or shop by yourselves, because you want to have the same luxury that you do. We really are here to lead, mentor, and advise your girls to become, eventually, as someone said in the room, leaders. That's our goal. And so you need to make sure that every parent has a role. When I teach in a training perspective, I always say, make up a job for the parent. If you want them to be the balloon mom, hey, Melissa, I need you to bring balloons every meeting. I mean, you got, I got that. I mean, you really want them to take ownership like you're teaching your girls. I say to leaders as well as to parents, Girl Scouts is an investment, okay? And the great comparison is like soccer. An average cost of soccer, especially in North Florida, is about $130, give or take. Okay? And here's the thing I didn't realize till my kid was probably playing soccer 3 years later. I still pay $100 plus and bring the snack. Did you all notice that? I'm paying $100 plus and I still have to bring you snacks for this. And here's the thing. As my coach, you're going to make sure I remember to bring the snack, because if not, I'm going to be very embarrassed about not bringing a snack, right? Okay, it's the same type of investment. However, what parents think is they will pay $100 for soccer for 6 weeks, maybe 9, to sit outside in the cold, because I've been there in January with our seats and our warmers, but yet they will call you and says, well, she can't show up to a meeting, but they wouldn't miss soccer. And that's the kind of standard I set for a foundation I lay within my own troop. That Girl Scouts is an investment, is where the seed leaders are made. It's where we build courage, confidence, and character, which is what our mission statement says, to make the world a better place. And you have to make sure your parents understand that. If you have not, have anyone had their first parent meeting? If you had your first parent meeting, raise your hand. Okay, if you have not had your first parent meeting, raise your hand. Okay, so this is another conversation that Jody and Robin needs to work with you, but you must have a parent meeting. You want to have a parent meeting first before you work with the girls. And it's important because that's where you lay your foundation. What your needs are, your financial situation as far as what, how to register, things of that nature. But it's so important at the very beginning. And here's the thing that I will tell you from my past experience. I'm pretty sure Melissa can share stories as well. I remember getting a phone call from a leader who says, I quit. That's how the conversation started. She left me this horrible message. She was in tears. I called her back. I really thought she was dying. And I called her, are you okay? She says, I quit, Vonda. That's it. I'm done. And so I let her go through her whole story. And I said, can I just ask you one question? She said, sure. I said, all the things you named, did you ask your parent? She said, no. She says, why? Well, I had it. Exactly. So if I think parents are like kids. If they think you got it, why am I going to do it? I realized that with my own daughter when I would say, clean your room, and then she wouldn't, and I would go back and clean. Remember that? Well, I'll tell you a story. My 13-year-old has learned to wash clothes. That was the thing. At 13, you get to learn how to wash clothes and do some things that mommy can't do anymore. And she went out of underwear. And she comes to me and says, I don't have any underwear. I said, good luck with that, because I told you I don't wash your clothes anymore. Trust me, that never happened again. Okay? Bad story, but good investment. Because she realized that I was not coming behind her. And that's the thing when it comes to parental support. Let them know up front what you need from them. Whether it's Cookie Mom, fall products, well, I say fall products, chocolates and magazines. You got to get the new words out. It even comes down to, I have in my troop called a camping travel mom. Now, my situation is a little different because my girls are older, so we're moving more away from camp, and kind of like Melissa's daughter, we're moving more to trips to the Floridas and the Savannahs and all the things that we truly can't afford, but we think we can. All of those things. So we have that person. And ladies, remember, I have 2 troops. I have 2 travel moms. I have 2 troops. I have 2 cookie moms. I have 2 troops. I have 2 leaders on one side and 2 leaders on the other side. And Janine can attest to this because she's been to my meetings. Okay? I run my meeting like I run a business. It's very clear. And I am a little anal when it comes to that, but my parents know. Okay? We do fundraising events in my troop. My parents know that he or she have a choice. If you want your child to go somewhere at 6 a.m., I expect you at that location to help with this event. You can serve some food. You can direct some traffic. You can help in the meeting. You can do something. But if I'm investing in your daughter, I need you to invest in me. And the good thing about council, how many of you have a volunteer essential? Okay, if you don't have a volunteer essential, raise your hand. Volunteer essentials,
They were on the, they're probably in your folders, in your troop folders, there were some on this.
Yeah, check your true folders first, if they
There
don't
were,
have one.
yeah, there were a stack of
Exactly.
them on this table.
We also have some in your bags that haven't
This
given out.
Volunteer Essentials is the Girl Scout Bible, lowercase b, not uppercase, but it is. It's the Girl Scout Bible. Any and everything that you need to know about what to do is in this Bible right here. And one of the things in there is about parental support and parental roles. Okay? So this is very important to have it. This should go with you everywhere, whether you're at a meeting or outside of a meeting. So if you have your Girl Scout meeting, it should be there. If you're going to a local parade, it should be with you. This answers every question to me. And I love this year. Again, you guys have some great advantages as this class because I remember when this was not the best organized manual, and it's color-coded for you. It's organized. It has great bold headings. It smells brand new. I mean, you name it, it's all in this book. It has a new book. It does, doesn't it? Have you smelled it? A new book smell? I know Melissa has done this because I've hung out with her several times. She has spiral bound this, went to, I think, Kinko's or FedEx Kinko's and put Office Depot, and she's put it in like a binder and has carried it around. For me, I personally went, and people know I do not like to drive to council. It's too far for me, but I personally went to council and picked up one for every leader and parent who plays a role in my troop, because that's how important these things are. But parental support is is in this too as well. So you should also go home and look through this. And you don't have to look through individually. You can just go with the contents page, and it will tell you exactly what you need to know. This is really important when it comes to troop safety. Troop safety is probably the most important thing in here as well.
Hey, Vonda, do you pay for those?
No, these are free.
So if you drive down there and you get them, that's a nice way of saying.
Well, you actually should have them in actually it's one per troop. So if you have.
If we wanted to give them to our parents.
Well, yeah, you can. I mean, you can do it to your parents. You can drive down, but you as a co-leader and a co-leader can have these yourself. But yes, you drive down, they have them there. If you have, actually, they were saying if you have not picked yours up, they will pull them for you now and give them to you. Okay, so we've covered training, parental support. Before we move on to troop finances, are there any questions? Okay, so we're going to kind of switch. We're going to talk about annual fund because it's a part of the finances. And I am an advocate for annual fund, which is probably why I think Jody and Robin likes me the most, because I'm probably the only person they know that loves annual fund. By trade, I'm a full-time fundraiser. What do? I beg for money. That's the best way. I can tell you all. I write grants, I do events, I can do all that. But really, my job is to build relationships and ask you to write checks. Did you hear that part? To ask you to do what?
Right.
Yes. Okay. Because again, my big word in Girl Scouts are two things: investment and girl-led. I believe those two things work hand in hand. And annual fund is a great way to do it. Now I'll tell you this. Council will tell you things like annual fund is important because it's United Way. We're a United Way agency. We want everyone to invest. And that's all great for those business sense people. Annual fund is important to me because I know the effectiveness of what annual fund has done. Annual fund is important because it gives girls, as we believe, Girl Scouting is for everyone, everywhere, an opportunity to be a Girl Scout who really can afford to pay $12. Who really want to be a part of an organization for girls, by girls, been around for 100 years, but really can't afford to sit next to my daughters at times. That's how important the annual fund is. And I give my $50 every year, and at times at the end of the year have given more. Because I believe in it, I invest in it, and I've seen a difference. And here's why. I have a young lady in my troop. My troop is really mixed with two types of demographics. Some who are really middle class and some who are lower middle class. I took on a personal mission because, again, where I work, I saw a lot of kids who needed a chance to be something different. And unfortunately, due to their circumstances financially, they couldn't. And so I got with a group of people who I kind of bent their arms, and they couldn't say no to me because I was not going to let them. And I said to them, we're going to build a different type of troop. Okay? We're not going to build a traditional North Fulton troop where people who can write checks for $80 and go to Greece. I'm sorry. I don't want that troop. If that is a troop you have, I love you. I think it's great your parents can write a check. But I want a troop where girls really learn that their circumstance is just that. their circumstance, and that you can move out of it and become successful. And I have a little girl that does that. She's raised by her grandmother. Her mother had a very hard time with drugs and other opportunities, and so she's been raised by her grandmother for years. And when she came to me, she was a very shy little girl. She's not anymore. That's because she's been hanging out with me. And last year, she's a junior, and last year she got a chance to go to Savannah. So we're driving to Savannah in these cars, and she says, "Are we there yet?" And I said, "What do you mean?" She says, "Well, I'm seeing that we're in a different area. Are we there yet?" Well, at the time, there were planes flying over. So you would assume, and we were flying close, we were actually by the airport. Now, mind you, I have children because I grew up in a household where I wanted to see something different. So my kids have gone to D.C., they've gone to New York, they've gone to Florida, you name it. We've hit half the states and some things in between. And here my daughter is in the back of the car with this little girl and saying all the places she's gone. And I'm hearing these conversations. And the little girl says, "So Ms. Vonda, are we there yet?" Well, of course, I start to laugh. I said, "No, we're not. We're by the airport." And she says, "Are we really?" And the conversation changed. And I realized at that point, she didn't know where the airport was. And I said, "Honey, you do understand what the airport means." I said, "Don't you hear the planes flying over us? You see all the planes?" She says, "Oh, well, I really never left my area. I mean, I went downtown with my grandmother once, but, we don't really go to many places." Okay, so we're driving, and then we finally get to Savannah the next day. We're in the dining room of the house in Savannah, which I will not say anymore, but it's an amazing experience if you've never gone. And she comes to me, and she says these words, "I can't believe I'm here. I am standing in her house." And tears literally welled up. Because my kid didn't get that. No offense. I mean, it's the kid in there who wants some Beats for Christmas, really. We had this conversation, no way, really. She's like, "Can you give me some Beats?" It's $200 headphones. Well, I mean, you can't get them, right? I mean, she's already navigated with her grandmother. She's called the grandmother. My mom, who's left me a message, I had to call her back, and they kind of figure out how to buy this. And this little girl says, "I can't believe I am in her house." And we toured the entire house. We do all of these things. And I said to her on the bench in the park in Savannah, I'm not making the story up, and I'm not even giving you the effects. I said, "You stick with me, I'm going to take you places." And it is just the beginning. 2 weeks ago, I get a phone call from my co-leader, because while we were in Savannah, we went to Paula Dean's, and we didn't realize how smart this kid was in math. She literally added up our check in her head. Literally. She's like, "Oh yeah, it should be about this much," and she was very close, so she's off by about $20. I have actually one of my leaders went to Georgia Tech, who owns her own business. She's an engineer. And then I got them to start talking. 2 weeks ago, I get a phone call from my leader. She says, "You'll never believe what this little girl says," and I'm not going to tell you her name because she lives right here. She said, she asked me, and my co-leader's name is Miss Andrew. She says, "Miss Andrew, when are we going on the college tour?" Miss Andrew said to me, she realized that we are the team to get her where she needs to be. Her grandmother said to me when I dropped her off in Savannah, "I appreciate what you women are doing for her." When I go into Walmart where her grandmother works, every summer, she has to stay up there because they can't afford child care. Every summer, she stays there. She sits in the McDonald's. And every time she sees me, she runs and asks the same question, "When does the meeting starts again?" Every summer. So why do I believe in annual fund? Because you have paid for that little girl to be a part of my troop. And to answer that question to this, Jolene Robbins said something early, that you have to at least be asked for 50, but invest something. Even her grandmother pays $10 to annual fund. Now, she asks for it every year, but she says, and I can tell you when I'm going to get it. My first 5 come in December at the holiday meeting, and I act surprised. She doesn't know we already did it. She pays it 5 then. The next time I get our next 5 is in May. So really, she's even out of the annual fund system. She's all out of it, but she pays it every year. Okay? Why do I believe in annual fund? Because why shouldn't you? If you can get out of these seats and go into your car that is paid for probably, or you can afford it and go back to your home, annual fund is nothing for you. It's the Starbucks that you get $10 a day, because I know how much you pay at Starbucks, because I pay the same thing. That's 1 week of Starbucks, minimum. And we make it easy for you. It's tax deductible. So your money is actually coming back to you. But it's an investment. Let me get off my soapbox, because I get a little passionate about annual fund. But that's because I truly know the difference. It also covers your volunteer applications that you do for free. We don't charge you. You know how much an average volunteer app actually costs? $40 if we made you pay for it. The classes that we provide, and as a trainer, ladies, I promise you when I give up my Saturday for 4 hours or 8, I don't get paid. My husband doesn't get paid off of it. When Jody and I train, because Jody's also a trainer, we're doing that free of charge. But your classes are all free. They don't pay for our gas nor our food. Not complaining.
Nobody shows up.
But we do that because we believe in this investment. That's what the annual fund does. Annual fund sends kids to horse camp. It sends kids to camp. It takes care of our camps. It takes care of our council. What you don't realize is your $12 does not go to council. It goes to New York City. Yes, New York City. So that's why I'm asking you. Go and tell your parents. And if you can't, call us up. Because I'm always about annual fund. If I get an annual fund call, I will drop dinner for annual fund. I really would. Because it's an investment. And if they're willing to pay for everything else, the tickets to concerts, the iPhones, the iPads, the iTouches, what else? The iPad 5, the mini iPad, the Beats, they're willing to pay for all those things, they can pay $50. Okay? Any questions? I just did a really good job, but y'all are real scared. Okay, that moves us to troop finances. And I'm going to pick on Melissa because she knows this. The one thing that breaks up a marriage, a troop, or a family is money. M-O-N-E-Y. Money, 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 money. That's why they made a song about it. That's what they know about it. They understand it, and they realize it. You two are friends now, and right now you are finishing each other's sentences. But let her steal some of that your troop fund, you are going to kill her. I promise. Here's the thing. Those are the calls that Melissa often gets many times. Well, she signed on the account. I don't know how much she spent. She didn't tell us. And she brought this and the troop doesn't know. Money is the root, really, of all evil when it comes to Girl Scouts. And Melissa will tell you, especially around cookie time. That's when it really... Here's the thing. Girl Scouts is a business, and we teach financial literacy. And we want you to give those same skills to your girls. And that's why every troop decision has to be girl-led, starting with troop dues. Make girls start from the beginning to bring troop dues to your meeting every meeting. And then keep them within the budget of what they're spending. Okay? So, raise your hand if you're a kindergarten Daisy. All right, excellent. Do not ask the kindergarten, where do you want to go? Disney World! Of course you do. We can't afford Disney World. However, we have two options. We can go learn how to make ice cream at Rita's. Okay? Or we can go to the zoo. That's kind of feasible.
So Mike said they wanted to do every single girl.
Yeah.
They wanted to go to the zoo. I'm like, we can make that happen.
We can make that happen, okay? When you get to my level, right now, my cadets are at standstill, and I'm tired of them being at standstill. I'm about to make a decision for them. It's Space Camp in Florida, okay? But here's the thing. I know, that's what I said. Maybe it's more for me. I'm sorry. But again, those conversations start at a meeting, and then we walk them through the process of how much it costs to afford that. But again, communication is the key as co-leaders between the both of you when it comes to money-making decisions. And the one thing else that breaks up a troop is not keeping your parents informed financially. Because I get this every year. Oh, Ms. Vonda, we trust you. Don't. You don't know what goes on behind my house. Okay, I'm going to share a quick story because I'm going to kind of make this quick. I watched a show called the series ID, the TV channel ID, Investigation Discovery. That's my Sunday passion. Okay, and here's why, and people get scared of me in my house. But ID shows movies about blood, murder, in the wheel, blood, lives, alibis. It's all about someone killing a husband, a lover, a wife, a girlfriend. I don't know. It's something sick in my head. I promise I won't do anything about it. It's just what I love to watch. Here's the point I'm trying to make. Every time I see a show, I always say one thing. I would have never expected that from them. Of course you're not. Who's going to come out and tell you, I'm killing you tomorrow? I just want to let you know that. No one does that. Be prepared. I just want to let you know, tomorrow you will not be here, okay? Get things together. I don't care. Tell the family. No one is going to tell you that. So you don't know your neighbor. You really don't. I don't care if you've been in their house. You don't know your neighbor. You don't know their marriage. You don't really know their kids. We show you what we want to show you, okay? I put some clothes on because I had to for you. I mean, really. You really don't know them. And so I say that because when you're working with somebody, unless you're friends, but most of the time it's basically like putting two roommates together. Remember in college you had to move in with someone and you thinking, she'll never borrow my clothes, and she walk out the room with your shirt on? That's how this relationship is. And if you don't have that communication of saying, here's what we're doing, here's how we're going to work with the troop, if you don't work with your girls, you're teaching them failure. You're teaching them unrealistic expectations. Teach them that they can't afford that. That's what you're here to lead and mentor. If my daughter is in your troop and she wants those beats, tell her no. Teach her how she's going to earn them. That's what I need. Don't make it easy on her parents to write a check to you and do that. Because in the real world, how many of us graduated from college? Raise your hand. How many graduated making six figures? Raise your hand. Exactly. That's my point. How many wish you wanted to graduate making six figures? When your first job, in my case, was a customer service rep making 25, and I thought, really? Because my bill for my college degree costs a lot more than this. Okay? That's the thing. You have to make sure it's girl-led, but most importantly, you have to make sure communication is taking place between both of them. There is on the website a troop finance report. I tell parents every 3 months to give one. So for me, I start giving one at the beginning of the year. So when we go into the year, here's where we are. I give one again in December when we do a holiday. You all know it as investiture or rededication. Everyone does that ceremony differently. I do my investiture and rededication during the holiday because I want my parents to see. I do it again after cookies because a lot of money comes in during cookies. And then do it again at the end of the year because by that time we've gone camping or taken our trips. My troop takes trips after cookies are sold, so we'll have a kind of a cushion, and I'll do it again in May. And every time my parent says, oh, we trust you. Yep, I'm pretty sure you do. And here's a copy. Because I promise you, and I'm pretty sure it has not changed since I left 5 or 6 years ago, what tends to happen is the parent will always say, I didn't know what they were doing with the money. They stole the money.
And I promise you that if a parent calls me from your trip and says, I don't know what's going on with the money, the first thing I'm going to do is call you and say,
Exactly.
Can I see your finance report?
Exactly. And I will say this to people. If counsel is calling you, it's not good.
Oh, nice.
I know that. But I'm just saying, if you hear, unless something is major, if it cannot be resolved by your service unit direction, your service director or your team, and it gets to Melissa, that means it has really gotten out of hand. And I'm telling you, your parents are real smart. And when it comes to their kids, they're very protective. I'm the only one that go up to teacher who don't put the grades in when I want them. Okay, maybe it's just me. Because I know I called the school today because the access portal was not working. Okay, and again, I know people. So I called the person who actually does the access, and I called Kim and said, Kim, my access portal's not working. I have a personal cell phone number. She's like, Vonda, calm down. Port cards are going out. That's why. Okay. So if I'm like that over grades, can you imagine how I am over money? That's what I mean. This is not to scare you. It's really to educate you. You want to start fresh with that foundation. You do not want to be in April when she's calling to collect the money because a little girl in your troop sold 500 boxes and you can't find the parents. Because counsel has to be paid first. It's like a credit card. Bless you. The difference between the credit card and counsel, they give you a set time and set limits. Okay? Ladies, here's the thing, and I'm wrapping up here, that I want each and every one of you to understand. We want you to have an amazing experience, but we want you to have an informed and educational, amazing experience. We want you to understand that you are taking a responsibility that we take very seriously. As a leader, I love sitting next to you, and the organization's been around for 100 years. I gave up my time tonight because I understand where you are. I mean, your head is like right here in Girl Scout water. But I promise you, years from now, you'll be sitting on top of Girl Scout water. And it's so great on top, I promise. You know, the best advice I received 10 years ago when I got married, I told you I'm old, I am. 10 years ago when I married my husband, his best friend said, it gets greater later. And that's how I look at Girl Scouts. Every year, it gets greater later. And every year when I see the girls that I have been with since kindergarten walk through that door and say, oh my gosh, I'm glad we're back, it makes my heart full of joy. Because I'm doing the 3 things that counsel want. And no, it's not cookies, crafts, and camping. We do more than that. It's courage, confidence, and character. And I know, along with the rest of you, I'm making the world a better place. Any questions? Yes, ma'am.
You mentioned something about troop dues. Do they pay dues every time they come to a meeting or something?
Right. I didn't highlight that. Have you been in training yet? Okay. I didn't get too complicated in that. Troop dues is one of the things that they will teach you in training. What they do is because you have a cost of badges, you're going to learn all the financial management information, but there is an opportunity where you have to pay for badges that the girls earn. And so they cost like $2 per badge. And so we ask that the girls bring $1 based upon the responsibility.
So $1 per meeting?
It's based on a level. If it's a daisy, I'd say 50 or 25 cents. If I'm at a junior level, it's just enough to bring it in. Yeah, it's really minimum. But that's something you will learn in training. Yes, ma'am.
I have a question.
Sure.
I do National Charity League with my older daughter, and a lot of the things that we do, like the Jesse's House, Norfolk Community Charities, Childhood Cancer, I mean, can we do whatever we want?
Yes.
If we want to, say, for example, do something for Cure.
Right.
Make blankets or something for
Right.
kids.
As long as it's age appropriate, yes, you can. Girl Scouts, go ahead.
I just wanted, one caveat
Right.
is that
You can't
we do not
solicit.
raise money.
Right, you can't
No,
solicit.
it's just, I mean, like my son's on a leadership.
Oh, yeah.
Thing with Cure,
Absolutely.
and like he could bring blankets,
Right.
maybe, right?
Right. You can't solicit for the organization, but you can do, like, for example, when they do the walk, your girls can make the signs and stand out there. You can do things like that for NFCC. You can collect cans. If you need shoes, like Inez mentioned, you can do things like that.
So it's not, we don't have to call you and say, can we do this?
No, unless you're not doing anything legal,
It's
right.
very-
Yeah, you're not doing anything illegal, no. But I know that, I know what NCL is, but no, as long as it's not, you're not calling, we don't have a Girl Scout police, but we do as, yeah. But it's also great because, again, I'll reflect to her in Silver Award. This also gives them opportunity to look at projects and ideas for their projects as well.
Like Atlanta Humane Society, a simple one is collecting, and the kids would love it.
Right.
The little, like, paper towel things from
Exactly.
dogs and newspapers and bringing them.
Right. Just be careful taking